welcome to Martin Says. My name is Martin Conde and today I'll be sharing with you 5 of the most timeless sneakers. Let's go! Before we get down to business, I hope you're doing great today. Feel free to comment down below your thoughts, suggestions, or any ideas you may have regarding the video or the channel. If you're new and you like what you see, go ahead and subscribe and be part of the family. Hey, alright, so for today I've decided to list down 5 timeless sneakers out there. However, at the same time, I wanted to do something with my hair. So I thought, what better way to do so than combine both ideas? Because you know, one great idea plus one great idea can only make one greater idea. So come on and join me. Let's go! First up, we have the legendary, the Converse All Stars. This iconic silhouette has been around for almost 100 years now and has continuously been part of our essential style ever since its release back in the early 1900s. It was in 1917 when the Converse rubber factory decided to enter the shoe game, and by 1922 they hired a very special man by the name of Charles Chuck Taylor, who changed the whole game. It became so big that from 1936 to the 1980s, it became the official Olympic shoes. However, in the 1980s, Converse started to slip its dominance with the arrival of a then upcoming Nike and the behemoth Adidas into the NBA. But it wasn't the end for Converse then. They found a new market in the music industry. Being very popular among bands, it became unofficially the symbol for the rebellious youth. However, in 2003, the company had to be acquired by Nike for $300 million. Converse even tried to re-release the All Stars with the All Stars 2, however it did not sell out as well. The thing that Converse did benefit a lot from the Nike acquisition was that Converse was able to collab more with different designers, from Virgil Abloh's Off-White to Jerry Lorenzo's Fear of God. I think what makes the canvas upper and the thick rubber sole very popular is how classic it is. I'm just very excited with the future of the All Stars. Do take note that the All Stars comes in 2 variations, the regular All Stars and the Chuck Taylor 7T, which has a more premium quality. Now, I would highly suggest you go with the premium Chuck 7T All Stars simply because it is of better quality. I'll be including a link down below on where you could grab a pair. Next up, we have another classic silhouette, the Puma Suede. The Puma Suede took the spotlight back in 1968 during the awarding ceremony when Tommy Smith raised his Puma Suede before the fist up that was seen around the world. It was his way to protest the then injustice that majority of African Americans were facing during that time. Puma has come a long way since the Dassler brothers established the Dassler Brothers Shoe Company back in 1924, and with their infamous falling out gave us Adidas and Puma. Puma struggled a little bit with the athletic footwear industry until they came up with the Puma Suede, which was created to compete with what was then heavily saturated with canvas athletic shoes, namely the Chuck 7T All Stars. The Suede revolutionized the game when they came out with the Suede upper with the thicker sole, which helped it to be a lot easier to use than the common sports shoe. It was in 1973 when Puma catapulted with the legendary Walt Clyde Frazier, who became the second athlete with his own design shoe with the Puma Clyde. These carried over until the 1980s when the Puma Suede's popularity went outside of the court and into the breakdancing community. With its thicker sole and suede upper, it became perfect with breakdancers and became essential for all aspiring talents. Fast forward to the 1990s when the Puma Suede's popularity entered the skateboarding community. Again, with its silhouette and construction, it became perfect for the sport. Enter to the 2000s and Puma continues to innovate the classic sneaker with different collaborations from Rihanna to The Weeknd. I think that the Puma Suede will continue to grow and survive the years to come, mainly because it's very different from the other retro sneakers out there, and it is also very easy to style. It became an essential in everyone's closet, and it is also part of my kicks list, so I do hope I get one as well. Next up, we have what is considered as the best made sneaker of all time. I'm talking about the Nike Air Force 1. First introduced in 1982, the Air Force One was specifically made for the court based on the 1978 release of the Nike Air Tailwind, which used the Nike Air sole that became their selling point. They even got 6 legendary NBA players and had a very iconic commercial for it. Now during this time, the Nike Air Force One didn't took a while for its popularity to extend outside of the court. In the 1990s, it became extremely popular, especially during the time when hip-hop was starting to emerge. Artists from Jay-Z to Nelly rocked the pair as an essential to their style. Early on, Nike saw the potential and started partnering up with different artists on their own iteration of the classic sneakers. The Air Force One became so big that it became heavily copied. Companies from Reebok to Lugs and especially Bape on the Bape style heavily got their inspiration from the Air Force One. Thanks to its simple design, it became popular for customization and a lot of fans started doing their own iteration of the sneakers. And even until today, Nike has established their own customization option for the Air Force One on their website. I think that aside from the history and the hype, the Air Force One continues to dominate the market simply because not much has changed for it, and I think that's also a key for all timeless sneakers is if it's not broke, why try to fix it? Next up, we have a true cultural icon. I'm talking about the Adidas Superstars. Adidas has come a long way since it was established back in 1924 and did not waste any time in dominating the market. In 1964, Adidas started developing its own version of the basketball sneaker. They wanted to go to a different direction and started developing a leather shoe with a thicker sole. And hence, we have the Adidas Superstar, which was introduced in 1970. Now it's not easy to break a mold, and they had to cement themselves by partnering with the NBA's biggest star, and at that time it was no other than Kareem Abdul-Jabbar. It was through this deal that they were able to convince the NBA and its fans that the leather shoes were the future of the sport. And just like any other timeless sneakers, the popularity of the Superstar grew outside of the court and into streetwear. And in the 1980s, with the rise of hip-hop, the Superstars became an essential fashion must-have. It was through a little group by the name of Run DMC that the Superstars officially cement themselves in history. With the popularity of the group, the Superstars also grew with them, and Adidas quickly had a partnership, making them the first rap group to have such a deal. With the transition from the 1990s to the 2000s, the Superstar entered the skateboarding community. With its thick sole and shell toe, it became perfect for any skateboarder. Another key to the Superstar success is its different collaborations with multiple names, from Prada to Beyonce. And as it celebrates its 50th year, the Superstars will continue to grow as one of the most essential pair of sneakers out there. They still continue to become the best-selling shoes in the market. Now, I've had my Superstars for over 5 years now, and I love them. I still use them a lot, and I think that Adidas is on the right track when it comes to the Superstars, and I would expect to see them more in the future. With its affordable price range, the Superstars will continue to be a must-have for every individual. Lastly, we have the most recent release on our list, the one that changed the game, none other than the Nike Air Jordan 1 High. First released in 1985 to 1986 and designed by the legendary Peter Moore, Michael Jordan's signature sneaker came out with a blast with its genius marketing strategy. As for its design, Michael was pretty unsure because he didn't like the air sole Nike had back then, and he thought it was too high for a basketball shoe, and that's when Peter Moore came in and helped design the shoe. And Moore decided to go with a mix of the Nike Dunk and the Nike Air Force One with the lower sole, as requested by Michael Jordan. With the original colorway of black and red, it was certainly a standout because back then, basketball shoes were mostly white with minimal color designs on it. And when the Air Jordan 1 came out, it made headlines. It kind of violated the NBA's rules back then, and legend has it that the NBA even sent out a memo to Nike regarding the shoes. But that's what Nike was, a rebellious company, and that's what their branding was headed. And it was great for them as well because it was such a genius way to get the buzz out about the sneakers, especially with the iconic
On September 15th, Nike created a revolutionary new basketball shoe. On October 18th, the NBA threw them out of the game. Fortunately, the NBA can't stop you from wearing them.
And the NBA can't stop you from wearing them and becoming the best. Now, I think what makes this sneakers iconic is it brought out the hype because of this genius marketing strategy. And even until now, the hype continues on with their different collaborations from Off-White to Travis Scott. It's simply a classic silhouette. These one will forever remain in our culture. And fun fact, the memo wasn't really sent out for the Jordan 1s, but for the Nike airships that Michael was wearing when they were creating the Air Jordan 1s. But you know what? It worked very well for Nike and they capitalized on that, and here we are with one of the most hyped sneakers to date. Now, I know there's a lot more out there, so feel free to comment down below if you want me to do another video on the rest, or if you have other ideas for me to cover. If you haven't yet, do subscribe to the channel to be updated with the latest hype trends, fashion news, as well as great alternatives. Once again, this is Martin Says, and see ya!